G'day KFC Supercoaches, round 15 is in the books. More issues for Supercoaches to deal with. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but Supercoach doesn't stop, so let's get into who's hot and who's cold. The Kangaroos weren't too hot down in Tassie. I don't know if anyone was down there, and it's been a pretty tough year for North Melbourne, but Aaron Hall was back to his best with 38 disposals against the Crows, 153 KFC Supercoach points. That's his best score for the year to remind us of what he can do. We know he was one of the best buys in KFC Supercoach last year in that very lucrative role running off half-back. This year, it's been a stop-start year for him. He's had 2 hamstring injuries, but on the back of that score, some people are going to be looking to bring in a defender this week, and we'll get onto that shortly. But could you take the risk after 2 hamstrings? He's 65k cheaper than he was in round 1. Speaking of cheap defenders, Jake Lloyd, absolute KFC Supercoach royalty, but he's really gone off the boil this year. But he had a day out or a night out up at the SCG against the Saints, who were pretty awful, to be honest. But 39 disposals and 9 marks for Jake, just doing what he absolutely loves best for 148 KFC Supercoach points. That's the best score for him for the year by a fair margin. He's 123 grand cheaper than he was at the start of the year, but I don't know if I'd be going there. You scroll back 1 week and he only scored 42 points against Port Adelaide. But if he can put up more scores like that, we might have to take notice. And moving into the midfield, a few people were a little bit worried about Nat Fyfe coming back. Might hurt Will Brodie's scores. He was a bit down last week, but this week, absolutely back to his best. 129 KFC Supercoach points against the Blues. That's his 3rd best score for the year. 36 disposals, 6 tackles, 5 clearances, still attending plenty of centre bounces, and he's going back up in price again after a little dip last week. So I think he's going to be a keeper in the forward line, and you could say the same for Stephen Coniglio, another 100 yesterday against the Pies. So if you've got those 2 in your forward line, don't worry about trading. Who's cold this week apart from me? I think we have a bit of a problem in defence with Jayden Short. He was a great pick at the start of the year, getting lots of kick-ins. That was really good for his KFC Supercoach numbers. Then Dimmer moved him into the midfield, got a few more possessions. That was good. But the problem is the magnet has just kept moving, and he's been lining up at half forward a lot of the time now for the Tigers. He's getting a lot of inside 50. He's still finding plenty of the ball, but the issue is he's kicking it under pressure a lot more, and he's seeing a lot more of those hacked kicks where he's skying it inside the forward 50, and sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. We know off half-back he really loves those pinpoint long 60-metre passes. He's not really able to do that. So he's now had 5 consecutive price drops. He's 36 grand cheaper than he was in round 1, which is not what we're looking for. If you look at total defenders ranked by average, he's now down to number 12, and he's actually 26th ranked based on 5 round averages. So he's down to 498k. It's going to be a hard swap. I mean, maybe an Aaron Hall straight move if you could afford that. But yeah, he's definitely on the nose a little bit at the moment, Jayden Short. Now, speaking of cold defenders, Jack Sinclair, there's a watch on him. He's been absolutely fantastic all season for the Saints, and as we mentioned, they were just terrible on the weekend against the Swans, so I don't know if we want to read too much into that, but he did cop a heavy tag from Ryan Clark. First time that's really happened this year, and it kept him to just 79 points. So what we don't want is for other teams to look at that and think, oh, this is a way we can stop Jack Sinclair and stop St Kilda, because they had no run off half-back. They just had nothing at the SCG. So hopefully Jack can bounce back. He lost 22 grand off his price tag on the weekend. He's got a break even at 155 this week, so he's going to be getting cheaper. And last in the cold section is another defender. Now, this is a controversial one because Tom Stewart is in my team, and he scored 161 points, which was the best of any player in my side. But the problem is, of course, apart from ironing out Dion Prestia, and the match review and the tribunal will deal with that one, I don't think he's a dirty player, but that just did not look good at all. And what it means is he's going to be out for 3-4 weeks probably. We have to trade him. And because he had that concussion game a few weeks ago, even with that massive score, he's dropped 21 grand in value this week, which means at 562k, I can't swap him straight to a Doherty or Jordan Dawson, who's the form defender in the comp at the moment. So that really hurts me, Tom. I might have to use 2 trades to get one of those guys, or look for someone cheaper.